On this video, I'm going to share with you how to throw this snapping jab like the GOAT of boxing, Muhammad Ali. Welcome back to another video. My name is Chris McGarrahan Jr. and this is Brixton 81 Boxing. Thank you for joining us. We're happy to have you here today on this video, where no matter where you are in your boxing journey, you're going to learn how to become a better boxer, a better athlete, and ultimately how to get a ton of life benefits through the beautiful, sweet science of boxing. So today we'll talk about the jab. A lot of different types of jabs in boxing. I've made a few videos on jabs before, and make no mistake, I'm gonna make a lot more videos on jabs in the future. And I think one that comes to mind that I'll probably make next week is the Mike Tyson jab, which is a vicious jab. That's a scary jab. You don't want to get hit with that jab. If you're on the other end of it, it can inflict a lot of damage. So I'll probably make a video on that type of jab next week. So if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, make sure you see that. But today we're talking about the Muhammad Ali type of jab, which I call it the snapping jab. Very different than a Mike Tyson type of jab. Both very effective, but different. And you want to have both in your bag so that depending on who you're fighting, depending on who's in front of you, you can kind of use both to your advantage. The snapping jab, the Muhammad Ali jab, is used in a few different ways for a few different reasons. So on this video, we're going to break down, one, the technical breakdown of the snapping jab. How to do it perfectly. Exactly what's the difference between a snapping jab and a step-in jab, a more Mike Tyson type of jab. Technical breakdown, that's number one. Then we'll go into the psychological reasons you want to be throwing a snapping jab, how you're going to get into your opponent's head, what you're setting up with that snapping jab. And then obviously last but not least, number three, we'll go on the equipment, we'll go on the bags, we'll start hitting it, and I'll show you some workouts where you can really develop this jab at a very high level so you can land it in your next fight. So let's get into it. All right, you guys, so the snapping jab would look something like this. Snap. We're focused more on speed than we are actual power. Now make no mistake, speed can knock somebody out. Speed can really inflict a lot of damage. So you're not compromising, hurting your opponent with this punch, but you're just not focusing on power. It's a snap. Like a rubber band. Pull a rubber band as far back as you can, snap it back into place. That's what you want to mimic with this punch. Now, if you use more power, you're going to exhaust the shoulder. That's going to be a detriment to this snapping jab because we want to use this as often as possible. You watch a Muhammad Ali fight, he's throwing this snapping jab. As often as he can. He's throwing it throughout the entire fight, saving that power shot like a savings account, just stacking that up so when he sees a rainy day, which he's setting up with his jab, boom! He gets that beautiful Muhammad Ali knockout. But the snapping jab, the technical breakdown of it is one, we're on our toes. This is a very boxing-esque punch. We're not necessarily standing like a brawler, kind of like that Mexican style with more flat-footed, Mike Tyson, a power shot guy. We're gonna mimic a boxer, staying on our toes, doing the dance, throwing a couple shuffles in there, and snap that jab. Now, again, the technical breakdown. There's really three components to a snapping jab. One, speed. So you want to throw it out and bring it back in as fast as possible. I don't want to snap it and leave it out there. That's not a snap. That's a push. A snap is boom, just like that. So I want to put it out, bring it in as fast as possible. Boom. That's number one component. Number two component is I want to extend the arm as long as I can. Reason being, what I'm doing with that extension is, yes, I'm hitting my opponent. That's what we're doing in a fight. But also I'm gathering my range. I'm seeing, hey, what's the farthest distance I can hit my opponent? Because right now, yeah, I want to hit you. But really, I'm calculating for that power shot. I'm calculating for that lead hook. I'm calculating for that counter uppercut. I'm calculating that distance so that, the next round, the round after, whatever it may be, I'm ready, I'm prepared. I have my distance measured so I can hit you with a power shot. So I want to extend it as far as I can. Boom. So I'm not pushing it like that with the elbows bent. That's not the proper jab. Boom. So one is speed, two is full extension, and three, this can sound a little bit unique, but again, watch Muhammad Ali throw this. have the arm relaxed. If you look at Muhammad Ali, when he's dancing in the ring, when he's throwing his combinations, it's beautiful, it's rhythmic, it's smooth. That's what makes him so fun to watch. So you want that jab to be very relaxed. Again, keep your hands up, protect yourself at all times. But boom, 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 boom. Now mixing your footwork, right? Boom. And notice, even when I'm practicing this punch, my hand isn't fully clinched, because I'm not trying to punch you necessarily. I'm trying to snap this jab out. If the end of my glove can just touch you, perfect. The snapping jab has done its job, because it's not designed to try and hurt you. Now make no mistake, if I'm trying to hurt you, I can clench the fist, I can really make that ball and still snap it. But I want you to try this. Snap that same punch with the fist clenched, fist made, versus with the hand open. And tell me which one is more fast, which one has the most speed, which one is the most relaxed, the most flexible, which one is the easier to extend. It's the one with the hand open. So when you throw that jab, whoop, 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 whoop. Again, remember the purpose of it, which we'll go into more next. It's to set up distance, to set up range, and then go into the psychology of what we're doing to our opponent. All right, now let's go into the psychology of the snapping jab, specifically with Muhammad Ali. So Muhammad Ali was notorious for getting in the heads, getting in the minds of his opponent. And obviously he'd do a lot of that before the fight, with a lot of trash talk, with saying some pretty nasty things to his opponent. But in the ring, he got in their head as well, and he used the snapping jab to do so. So he would snap that jab, and what's happening when I snap that jab over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, think about it. If you're on the other end of that jab, what are you thinking? I know me, I'm going to be thinking, this guy keeps touching me, he keeps hitting me, even if it's not very hard, he keeps hitting me. He's winning if he keeps hitting me more than I'm hitting him. So he keeps touching me, he keeps hitting me, he's doing it at full distance, at full length, so it's not even like I can really easily counter or counter at all, because he's got the distance. He's just touching me. And if I'm just tapping you over and over and over again, it's like a kid in school sitting behind you that just keeps tapping you with their pencil. It doesn't hurt, it's not gonna break your arm, but it's annoying. And what happens when you get annoyed? Eventually, when you've had too much, you turn around, that kid in the classroom, you look at your opponent in the boxing gym and you get angry, you turn red, and you come rushing at your opponent. You come rushing at the kid behind you. That's what Muhammad Ali wants. That's what a boxer wants. I want you to lose control. I want you to get angry, come at me, because when you do, boom, it's all about force. You're coming at me angry, red, like a bull, and I'm coming like the matador. I'm just standing there waiting for you to fall into the perfect position. I've already created my distance, so I know as soon as you close in on that distance, boom, and I've got all my torque behind me, I've got all my momentum, all my weight distribution, so all I have to do, you're coming at me, boom. The out of control fighter is always the fighter that's most vulnerable. So I get you out of control with that snapping jab, I get you frustrated, I get you upset, I get you a little ticked off, you come rushing at me, boom. Now watch Muhammad Ali in most of his title fights. That's exactly what would happen. He would frustrate his opponents. They'd come at him like a bull, trying to just destroy him. They hated Muhammad Ali. Good. He used that to his advantage, because as soon as they came in, as soon as they got tired, as soon as they got a little bit out of control, boom, boom, boom. And you look at Muhammad Ali's shots, they're not huge Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, George Foreman type shots. They're boinks. Boink, 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 boink. But again, it's force. Two cars driving into each other. You are the car, and my fist is the other car. Boom. That force of you coming into my fist and just me touching you on the chin, on the temple, behind the ear, that's going to knock you out. I don't need to do a whole lot of work. You're doing most of the work for me because you're driving in to my power. So the psychology behind the snapping jab is to get your opponent out of rhythm, frustrated, annoyed, so that they lose their cool, come at you, and you're ready, boom, to blast that counter. All right, good. So we've just broken down the technique of the snapping jab as well as the psychology. So now let's start working on it. You've already seen a couple things I've been doing in the video as far as just shadow boxing. That's the #1 way to get this down and really get any technique down. Just practice it in an open space, open mat, over and over and over again, and make sure you're practicing your footwork. But as far as equipment in the back, you want to develop that shoulder muscle because you need to strengthen that to be able to throw that 100 times around. So what we're going to do first, we're going to get our range. Your range isn't you touching the bag with your arm extended. It's actually probably 6 to 12 inches if you're more experienced like myself back. So that doesn't look like my range, but look, as soon as I throw the punch, my body elongates. My body naturally stretches another 6 to 12 to 18 inches depending on your body type. So this isn't my distance. That's my distance. Now I'm not necessarily gonna hurt you with that punch. I don't have a lot of weight distribution into it like a power shot, but I can touch the bag. All we're doing with the snapping jab, we're touching, all right? Now a couple things you can try. You can try quick inhales, exhales. So if you want to make it more emphatic, you want to make more of a power jab, which you can still do with the snapping jab. I do more of a grunt to go along. That'll really increase the power. So, #1 thing you want to do when you get in front of a bag, find your distance. It's not touching it. It's 6 to 12 inches back. And you can start small. You can start 3 inches back, get that down, and then go from there. But you want to elongate as much as possible. Then, I want to practice my footwork. Snapping jab is not standing still. It's moving. So I got my bag in front of me. Make sure you always keep the other hand up. #2, practice your footwork. Then #3, something you could do with no equipment. Let's say you don't have access to a bag, is you can actually just stand on one corner of the ring, one corner of your space, one corner of the room, and jab back and forth. So light on your toes, snapping jab, step, snapping jab, step, snapping jab, step, snapping jab, step. Same thing going backwards. Jab, step, jab, step, jab, step, jab, step. And what you want to be cautious of, make sure you're snapping that jab, full extension, make sure you're creating the most distance possible, and make sure you're being light on your toes. Again, mimic Muhammad Ali when doing all of these exercises. Now what will happen before we wrap up this video, your shoulder will get sore. I know because I did this with my dad in the garage. I don't even know how many hours, a disgusting amount of hours, and that's how my jab got so good. So your arm is gonna get sore, it will get tired. Make sure you're actively recovering. So we got the Brixton boxing massage gun, little self-massage action, and the day after training, you could just bang this on the shoulder. If you're practicing uppercuts, maybe the biceps are sore, your legs are sore, whatever, and you can really break down all that tightness that you just worked so that you're ready to go work out the next day. So make sure you check this out, Brixton81.com, the Brixton boxing massage gun. This thing is essential for anyone looking to become a better boxer. Go check that out. Promo code YouTube at checkout, save some money. All right, you guys, there you have it. This is the conclusion of the video, how to snap the jab like Muhammad Ali. If you haven't, make sure to check out some Muhammad Ali videos on YouTube. They're all over the place. He is a beautiful boxer. As someone who loves boxing, it's a pleasure to watch him box. So make sure to check that out on YouTube. And if you haven't, subscribe to this channel, like this video, and comment below kind of your take on the snapping jab. I'm interested to know that. But as always, thank you for watching. You know I appreciate your time. Always remember the Brixton 81 mantra. That is, the attitude is everything. Take care. Talk to you soon.